People are always asking me for lists. The best this, the top 10 that. And honestly, I get it. But today is something a bit different. I'm not going to give you a list. Instead, I want to tell you a story that's been unfolding in my garden for the last 20 years. It's about one specific hummingbird, not species, I mean one single bird. I call him Rusty because he has this little patch of coppery feathers on his throat. And for 2 decades, since I planted a few specific things one June, he has shown up every single morning. Every single morning from May to September. It's become ritual. It made me realize that what we're really doing here isn't just gardening for ourselves. We're building promise. We're creating reliable, permanent home that wildlife can actually depend on year after year. It's about planting things once, things with staying power, and then watching relationship with nature build over human timescale. So I'm going to actually talk you through the thinking behind original June planting. The plants are part of it, of course, but it's the combination, the philosophy that brings him back. It's about building a restaurant that never closes. The first thing you need is a massive, unmissable sign that you're open for business. For me, that was a trumpet vine. Now hold on before you close the video, hear me out. Yes, Campsis radicans can be an absolute monster. A thug people plant it and then spend the next decade cursing its name as it sends runners under the patio and pulls the siding off the house. And they're not wrong. But the one mistake people make is planting it without a plan, a job, a boundary. I put mine on a ridiculously oversized, heavy-duty metal archway far from the house. It's a freestanding structure. That's the key. Its only job is to be a framework for this vine. And the payoff? Its hummingbird beacon. The sheer volume of those big, orange, nectar-filled trumpets is just staggering. Honestly, it's the most reliable hummingbird magnet I've ever grown. You don't feed it, you don't fuss over it, you just have to be brutal with your pruning in late winter to keep it in check. It's the anchor of the whole system, the blazing neon eat here sign that Rusty sees from a mile away. After you've got your big, loud beacon, you need to think about the start of the season. You need to open the doors early. For that, you need Columbine, Aquilegia, specifically the wilder native types like Aquilegia canadensis. They're not as frilly or massive as some of the modern hybrids, but their nectar is far more accessible and they are incredibly tough. Most people don't realize that columbines are one of the first truly complex flowers to bloom in spring that hummingbirds are built for. Their little spurs at the back of the flower are like tiny nectar flasks perfectly designed for a long beak. I planted a small patch of them once 20 years ago near the base of a shady wall, and that's it. They've self-seeded gently ever since, creating this beautiful permanent colony. They pop up in late spring, just as the first hummingbirds are arriving tired and hungry from migration. They provide that crucial first meal. It's the handshake, the welcome back, we're open gesture, and the foliage is just as lovely like maidenhair fern. It's the perfect start to the hummingbird season. Once the season is in full swing, you need a buffet, a proper all-you-can-eat, high-energy feast. That's where bee balm comes in. Monarda. This isn't a subtle plant, it's a party. When my Monarda patch is in full bloom in July, the whole area is just buzzing. You can hear it from 10 feet away. Bees, butterflies, and of course Rusty. He spends most of the high summer just darting between the bee balm and the trumpet vine. The one mistake everyone makes, bee balm is not giving it enough air. They crowd it in and then they're shocked when it gets covered in powdery mildew. It's almost guaranteed to happen in humid climates. The trick is to thin it out in the spring. Literally pull out a third of the stems. It feels wrong, but it improves air circulation massively and you get bigger, healthier blooms. Most people don't realize that the plant is in the mint family, which is why it spreads so vigorously. You have to be a bit of bully it, but the reward is midsummer spectacle that provides an incredible amount of food for weeks on end. It's the engine room of the summer garden. Now this is the part people forget. The season doesn't just stop in August. You need to keep the restaurant open right until closing time. That late season fuel is absolutely critical for hummingbirds getting ready to migrate south. They need to bulk up. And for that, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, better than Cardinal Flower, Lobelia cardinalis. The color of this thing is unreal. It's pure electric red that you just don't see anywhere else in nature. It doesn't scream. It commands attention. You'll see it in the wild growing along stream banks, which is the big clue. The one failure note I have for people is that they plant it in dry, sunny border and wonder why it dies. It needs moisture. It demands wet feet. I have mine planted at the edge of downspout where the soil stays consistently damp. It's perennial, but it can be a bit short-lived. The secret is to let it go to seed. The little plantlets that form at the base will ensure it comes back year after year, shifting its position slightly. It's the final life-saving meal before a long journey. True showstopper. Flower shape is something we don't think about enough. We see a tube and think hummingbird, but they have preferences. They're connoisseurs. That's why I always have foxgloves digitalis purpurea. Their deep bell-shaped flowers offer a different kind of dining experience than a narrow trumpet. Rusty has to push his way right inside to get the nectar. It's fascinating to watch. Now foxgloves are biennials, which confuses people. They grow rosette of leaves the first year and then flower, set seed, and die in the second. The trick to having them every year is to do 2 sowings year apart or just let the first one self-seed. They'll create permanent overlapping cycle on their own. You just have to learn to recognize the fuzzy seedlings and not weed them out. The most important thing to know, and most people don't realize how serious this is that the entire plant is toxic. Very toxic. It's where the heart medic Digitalis comes from. It's perfectly safe to have in the garden. Just don't go eating it. It's a bit of old world cottage garden magic that adds vertical element and different food source. A garden can't just be showstoppers. You need the quiet supporting cast, the background players that create a complete ecosystem. That's the role of coral bells or heuchera. So many people buy these for the colorful foliage, which is fantastic, of course. You get deep purples, lime greens, fiery oranges, but they often completely overlook the flowers. They send up these tall, wiry stems with dozens of tiny, delicate, bell-shaped flowers. They're not big, lashy, but hummingbirds absolutely lose their minds over them. It's like a cloud of tiny little energy drinks. Because the flowers are so small and numerous, a single plant provides hundreds of sips. I have them planted in drifts as an understory layer beneath taller perennials. They thrive in that park shade environment, where other things might struggle. Honestly, this is one of the easiest plants I've ever grown. They are tough as old boots. They handle drought, they're not fussy about soil, and the deer usually leave them alone. They are the definition of a plant at once perennial that fills in the gaps and provides a subtle but vital food source. Scent is a powerful attractant that we often associate with bees or moths, but it plays a role for hummingbirds too. And nothing says a sweet nectar here quite like honeysuckle. Specifically a native, well-behaved one like Lonoceros sempervirens, the coral honeysuckle, not the invasive Japanese kind that swallows entire forests. This native version is a much more polite vine, perfect for a trellis or fence. The smell on a warm summer evening is incredible. It's classic, sweet, floral scent that signals food from long way off. But it offers more than just nectar. The dense twining growth provides fantastic shelter and even potential nesting sites. I've watched Rusty perch inside the tangle of my honeysuckle vine during summer downpour, completely sheltered from the rain. It's multi-purpose plant, it's food, it's shelter, it's living wall. It's a crucial piece of the puzzle because habitat is more than just collection. Flowers, it's complete environment, and this plant provides that structure and safety that encourages bird to stick around. This is a big one, and it's not about a flower. Hummingbirds spend something like 80% of their time perched, resting, digesting, and fiercely guarding their territory. If you don't give them a place to do that, they're not going to feel at home. You need to provide structure. That's why a flowering shrub like weigela is so important. It has beautiful trumpet-shaped flowers that they'll feed from, absolutely. But more importantly, its dense, arching branch create a perfect framework of perches. My weigela sits about 30 feet from the main feeders and the trumpet vine. Rusty has his favorite twig on that shrub, and he sits there all day like a little gargoyle surveying his kingdom. From there, he can see everything and can instantly launch an attack on any rival hummingbird that dares to enter his patch. Most people just think about the food, but providing these strategic perches is just as critical. Making a hummingbird feel secure enough to stay. It turns your garden from a simple restaurant into a full-blown home base. It's long-lived, reliable shrub that asks for nothing but gives back so much in structure. Another thing that is so easy to overlook is water. Every living thing needs it, but we so often forget to provide it in our gardens. And for hummingbirds, it's not just for drinking. They are meticulous about hygiene and need to bathe to keep their feathers in perfect flight condition. A standard bird bath is often too deep and intimidating for them. The secret is to create motion in shallow water. I have a very shallow dish with a small solar-powered bubbler in it. It just creates a constant, gentle ripple. Even better is a mister. Hummingbirds will fly back and forth through a fine mist, it's an incredible sight. They absolutely love it. You can get simple misters that attach to a garden hose. This is a game changer, especially on a hot summer day. A reliable water source with a bit of movement can be a bigger draw than any flower. It completes the picture of a perfect habitat. It's the spa treatment after the feast. It tells them this is a place that provides all their needs, not just a quick meal. So you see, it was never about one magic plant. It's about a promise kept for 20 years. It's the combination of things: the big, unmissable beacon of the Trumpet Vine, the early welcome back meal from the Columbines, the nonstop summer party of the bee balm, and the critical late season fuel from the Cardinal Flower. It's the different dining experiences from the foxgloves and the subtle background support from the coral bells. And it's more than just flowers. It's the shelter and scent of the honeysuckle, the essential perching spots on the Weigela, and the life-giving water source. By planting these things once in that one June, I wasn't just planting garden. I was creating reliable, permanent ecosystem. Place with structure, safety, and food supply that starts early and ends late. That's why Rusty comes back. Not for single flower, but for the certainty that this place, his place, will always be here to support him. Every single morning, that's relationship, and it's the most rewarding thing I've ever grown.